Hello everyone, this is Cookies. I've got another turn as Omniscience in the second game of the second round of Lucid's tournament. Let's go ahead and dive into this. We have a lot of battles today, particularly between Marignon and other players, and then a handful of battles of Calum attacking Tianqi. I suppose I could have checked if Tianqi staled. They're certainly small enough where the motivation can be lacking, but I did not check, so I'm not going to level any upsetness for not playing it out in a tournament. Let's see. I'm trying to have Discord closed for this today. Alright, so we've got Illusory Attack. I think it should clear this. This certainly looks like enough illusions to clear this. Alright. So that's successful. Does kill the Ichdid Lord in Mudwater Caves. Got a bunch of ghouls. Being jumped on by some bats. In Hot Hollows. Got a bunch of imps. So that's a horde from hell. I think we're still in the magic phase. We got Plague of Locusts. Now, these guys are pretty cool. They have 19 protection. It's not even... It's just like their exoskeleton or whatever. From them being demons. It's 19 protection. It's not even like invulnerability or anything. Which actually works pretty well against the Stone Spear guys. I don't see any of the Glaive guys in here, which would probably be better at killing them. So they should roll this. Alright. So that's Orstengrad. Then in Gueladon, we've got our first Calum attack against Marignon. A bunch of, what are these? Stormguard? Against a pretty heavy Barbarian PD dump. It's not that heavy, but it might be like, I don't know, 10 to 15 PD. Could be enough to kill these Stormguard and get them to rout. But the commander is going to hold the field. Classic bird victory. Let's see, so that's here. It loses 17 Stormguard. My guess is this is 21 PD, because you got the second commander. Alright. And then in Dardius, we've got Marignon attacking Calum. Alright, a little bit of point buffing. We got the missionary. We've got a second commander besides the missionary. I think I forgot to check last time if this Grim fellow was a merc. But we do get Marble Warriors as a little bit of a point buff put on them. So they're up to pretty significant amount of protection. Let's see. 18 protection on a forest troll. Pretty nasty. I think that should be enough to kill the body ethereal guys, but we'll see. These guys have a fair amount of protection themselves, but trolls just hit really hard. So, really close. The forest trolls rout. Marignon routes first. Do the trolls get off the field? Not all of them. Looks like maybe 6 of them don't. That was here. So 6 of the trolls are killed. The chart maker is killed. Loses, I guess, swordsmen are cheap. Royal Guard are a little bit more pricey, but they're also a little bit better. I don't know if they're twice as good better. They've got, well, 13 attack is a pretty nice upgrade. 11 defense. Same defense. A little bit better protection. I might just get the swordsman if it's me. They do have bodyguard, which is really nice. Alright. So I think that was this one. So Calum defends. In Toledo, Calum attacks. We've got a number of Stormguard here, killing 1 PD. Then in Sacred Lake, Calum's also attacking as a white mage with flying boots. Just a little bit of Triton PD. Although they kind of get in there pretty quick. Oh, and then they're all dead. Okay. So where was that? That was Toledo? No, Sacred Lake. Barren Crags. We've got Marignon attacking Atlantis. We've got the Witch from the West. La Malinche. Native of Mictlan. Conquered her village and took her as a slave. I think this is based on a real person a little bit. Okay. Let's see. Seducer, Twice Born, Chainmail of Displacement, Skull Staff, Amulet of Resilience. A lot of Skelly spam from this mage. And has a chart maker for a little bit of point buffing too. So we've got some body ethereal and then invulnerability. Alright, no mages were harmed here. Let's see, so I think that was Barren Crags. Yeah, and in Sleepy Mountains, Calum trying to attack Marignon. Got a squad of Raven Guard going after 1 PD. They ought to do fine. Then in Ionia, we've got Marignon attacking Calum. Another band of swordsmen. Fairly heavy defense, though, for a change. Got a nice counter raid. So we've got some Mist Form getting buffed on Devils. A little bit of Skelly spam. And I think this is 6 mages. So pretty fair number of mages in on this. And a little bit of PD. No body ethereal for this squad. They do hit hard enough, I think, to have a chance to pop Mist Form. But this is going to be tough, I think, for Marignon. The Devils get in there. Dangerously close to the missionary. Likely using missionaries to lead troops, so he doesn't have to use mages if he doesn't want to. Because you can, I believe you can foreign recruit the missionaries. Missionary does end up dying, though. I don't know that a regular commander would have fared too much better against Devil, though. So, Calum wins this defense, eliminates a Marinese raiding party. Let's see, I think that was Ionia. Yeah, does kill 5 of the Devils, though. But 24 Royal Guard and a missionary in exchange. In Kepis, we've got Marignon attacking Atlantis. This is a lot of body ethereal spam. Now, Body Ethereal, not always great against Atlantis, but this is just PD. Generally just attacking here. Gets complete coverage. So should easily win this. Alright. And I think this was, yeah, this was a sailing raid. Alright. And then attacking Calum. We've got 3 fallen angels. This is the Evening Star, fire and weakness. Both of those effects are AoE 1. AoE 1 AP, which is pretty nice. And then the third one, also an Evening Star, but with a charcoal shield now. I think charcoal shield, it's a really nice shield, but it's a very expensive way to get fire shield on a fire mage. He could just be trying to save the script slot, though. He does have quickness on this one with the boots of quickness. He's also got displacement, which makes the angel a lot harder to hit. That's one of the main lines of defense so far. We can check them out after their buff script. It's a lot of Earthbound here, and they do have their Death Weapons Bless. And the buff script might get interrupted a bit. So let's go ahead and see. So we got Soul Vortex, Soul Vortex, and Soul Vortex. This one's got a Dancing Shield, which blocks half of attacks, including spell and area attacks, which is pretty neat. Got a lot of MR on these guys. The blind shields, oh, I guess that's the second line of defense. Now, blind shields can get cut up pretty bad. They don't have a ton of protection. But if they blind everyone, then you don't have to worry about that. And then you've got displacement as well to lower enemy attack scores. So you can see the description at the bottom. All right, let's go ahead and watch this. So we've got, was it Phoenix Pyre, Fire Shield, and Jump In. This one got walloped a bit. It has got diseased now. So they do have these amulets of anti-magic, I believe, because the death weapons is an MR effect if they fail a magic resistance roll. So that makes sense if you're trying to thug these crossbows. Now, I forget, do all of them have fear? They've all got fear 10, which is a pretty significant AoE, and can lower morale up to 10. I believe there was a recent patch where, if I remember correctly, fear 5 would only go up to a max of -5 morale, rather than the old max of 10, which was pretty strong. It's still a very strong effect, but if you have 10 fear, it'll still go up to the old max of 10. And I think because there's, is it 8 squares around them, and I think the fear value is how many squares it affects. I think it'll touch squares up to 2 away. So it's pretty good for that too. Alright, so puts Calum under siege with these 3 fallen angels. In Falgoth, we've got Marignon attacking with another fallen angel. This one, a lot weaker kit. Has an Ice Aegis, which is pretty neat for the ice armor effect. So up to 22 protection, but protection versus mundane of 33 with 25 invulnerability. Has displacement to lower enemy attacks as the fear aura, and does a strong poison. But this one's got some afflictions, so only 13 morale. Could probably, I think there's like a new pendant that gives 4 or 5 morale. That might be a good thing to add to this angel. Got Phoenix Pyre. Should do fine here, though. Everything's just terrified. Okay. So that's Falgoth. The Imp does die. In Bycliff, we get an Atlantis attack. So we've got a bunch of Unsleeping, led by a Forgiving Father and a Merciful Mother. I suppose this is just kind of like a version of Shipwreckers. I don't know. It looks like the commander got Soul Slide right off the rip. Let's see. Interrupted. Oh, Magic Duel. So we've got 3 Magic Duels here. So the Forgiving Father got wrecked. But good thing he included the Priest. There's still leadership for this crew. In particular, these ones with the Poison Barb Coral Armor, it's 16 protection, are pretty tough Atlanteans. Okay. So that's Bycliff, loses the Forgiving Father, 3 Unsleepings, kills the Chartmaker and some PD. In Forest of Gila, we've got Kalem attacking Tianchi. Little group of birds. I don't think there's anything home, though. Where is that? Yeah, here. So 4 Stormguard go down, they kill the general and 7 heavy footmen. In Coast Haven, got another party of birds. Killing more PD. Okay. In Ul Dalepa, we've got Atlantis attacking Marignan. A whole mix of mages and different troops against what looks like PD and a Royal Guard squad. We do have some Magic Duel. We've got a Crystal Mage. So let's take a look. Alright, so we've got a Mummy Thug. Enormous strength. Alright, so that's 25 protection. Hits for 38 with the Lightning Spear. Also pretty decent MR. Is Holy 2. And then a fair number of other mages, probably doing a mix of point buffs before these troops run in. Also getting a mix of magic attack glaives and regular attack coral glaives on the... So in terms of troops, so a little bit of a mix here, and then a few sacreds with the bone glaives, which add a weakness effect. So I guess those guys are pretty good as like anti-SCs for kind of ruining them by adding a bunch of weakness checks. Yeah, Ice Strike and Falling Frost Artillery murders the PD. Looks like all of these guys are bodyguarded. So they're relying on the Skelly spam to finish this out. Oh, the mummy's going in. Okay. The mummy is very slow, though. 2 combat speed. Earthmeld is not the answer from this guy, so he runs away. Alright, so Atlantis takes this one. If this was here. Loses 1 Sacred, 1 Ice Guard, kills 2 Chartmakers and 13 Royal Guard. Marignan attacks Rame. We've got I think these are the two Merc companies. They're just going to kill one PD. Alright. In Dardathorm, we got another little raiding party of Royal Guard. But we've got a counter party of Storm Guard. This might be too many Storm Guard. In particular, once they fill in that square and go start running hits against the missionary. Alright, there goes the missionary. So Caleb wins this one. Looks like a few indie crossbows helping out. Let's see, so that was here. Trades 5 for 5 and loses missionary. Unscripted Storm Guard just sitting in a province. Maybe the commander was mind hunted? I don't know. In Levendalen, we got the really big Marignan army, because he's got a couple, but this is the one with the Falling Angel. Hopefully it's been moved away from the mages, and it looks like it has. So it shouldn't be soul vortexing his own mages anymore. And this is a Winds of Death trap from this 1 HP twice-born Harab Elder who has a Skull Staff. This might be enough for 3 casts, but I'm a little bit concerned he might chew through 2 gems on the second cast. We'll see. Might also just not get that far depending on what Marignan does. So... Life for life, not quite hitting. The imps don't land. Air Elemental trying. We get 1 cast off. I think that used 2 gems, so at most he's going to get 1 more. He's in combat now. Does gem bait, and the devils clear up the rest. So he gets off 1 cast. Trades a Skull Staff for it. And a few gems. Now, I don't think he got Soul Slate or anything to ruin the Twiceborn. No, just died a normal death. In terms of mages, gets a Chart Maker, another Chart Maker, 3 more Chart Makers, and a Bloodhinged Druid. Maybe some more stuff. We'll have to see. What was that? Gosh, how lost am I? Alright, I think we saw some... Did we see these raids? Okay, this was Levendalen. Okay, I'm just spoiling stuff now. So, loses a handful of mages. 46 swordsmen, 72 royal guard. That hurts. And 71 crossbows. I think all the other losses are pretty manageable. The Bloodhinged Druid might hurt depending on the gear that was on him. But losing 72 times 20, that's 1,440 gold of royal guard. Is definitely pretty painful. What is on these Bloodhinged Druids? Alright, so we've got a Bloodthorn one, a Twisting Thorns one, and an important one. Let's see who dies. This is the hard part about invading Caleb. So this is the Bloodthorn one that died. Okay, probably a good chance he picked up the booster. Alright. In Bhakti, we've got Atlantis attacking Marignan. A pretty large army. Very mixed company, too. Mixing up the Bone Glaives with the Unsleeping, with the Ice Guard, so that a thug can't just roll into a particular squad, say of Unsleeping with Body Ethereal, and get away with shenanigans. Let's see. Then we've got this guy, who's also a Twiceborn Thug. Number of mages back here. This is a pretty significant amount of PD, and there's no magic duel set up. This would be a prime magic duel target, I think. Got S2s, S1s. Okay. Not a heck of a lot going on. We get rain put up. Some of the evocations are missing and hitting their own troops. Okay. So in a Bhakti, it loses 3, takes out a lot of PD. In Solkar, we got Kalem attacking Marignan. 2 little groups of birds, killing 1 PD. In Bonelands, and I know I kind of spoiled those, but I've got the worst memory sometimes. So they should be able to kill those barbarians too. I don't know that we really care. Okay, so this was Bonelands. So this one bounces, it looks like. Some Draconians, but there's Devils here. Devils are pretty high quality troop, and they nab the commander because the Draconians are over here. Okay. Let's see. So that was here. This is an Ironcrafter, 3 Draconians, and the rest of them flee. In Small Sea, we've got Atlantis conducting a little raid, trying to get at the underwater. They've got great troops for it as long as their little tent owner doesn't get killed. Another nation where the commanders wear the worst gear relative to the troops. Okay. Yeah, but does end up taking that one. Loses 3 Ice Guard to the Merman, probably poison, if I really want to look. In Ultima Tifa, got another Kalem raid. I think this is just a visual bug, because I've got the Temp Gem mod local again. I think that's what might have been causing it. Alright. Got a number of Ancestor vessels charging in, fighting against the Kalem Earthbound. That was a, what was that, Banefire? Yep. Pretty bloody exchange, but Tianchi takes it. So they successfully defend. They lose 2 Ancestor vessels, kill 7 Stormguard, 2 Earthbound, and 7 Draconians. Alright, I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit, because I think this is my second recording today. Or I just need to get some water. Alright. So yeah, that was here. In Veil of Valor, we've got Kalem attacking Marignan, a number of Raven Guard. Again, the point of contention is if they land and kill the missionary. But the commander should stick around for the victory at a minimum. Okay. So loses 19 Raven Guard, kills the missionary and a few swordsmen, but takes the province. Marignan attacks Kalem on Satis. Alright, now this is Kalem's kind of like big stack. We've got the 3rd Heavenborn here. We've got eagles, we've got birds, we've got this Deva, the shooting stars. And over here we've got a whole bunch of chart makers and 3 fallen angels. Here are the kits. Pretty similar to some of the other ones we've seen. We've seen this Gutata Volturnus before, but this one's got a lot of fire gems on it. So we might be seeing Firestorm, and then the rest of these guys are meant to point buff. I think the important thing for Calum is maybe some of the flyers are in turn 1 attack to disrupt stuff like this. I was looking for the Raven. Oh, it's right there. Okay, so I anticipate that we'll see Rigor Mortis and Relief maybe. And then maybe Army of Mist and Bronze Army. Not sure what the dev is going to do. Maybe anti-magic. Then we've got another, and then we've got the Fallen Angels. So let's see what the Fallen Angels do. And their complement of expendable chart makers. Alright, so a bunch of Magic Duel. I don't even know that a lot of them were able to cast their spells, were they? 1 cast. But a lot of them just died. They weren't even able to get 1 spell off. Normally you can, I think. So that was a little bit surprising. Alright, so we've got Relief, and then Army of Mist, Army of Bronze. So a lot of the stuff we were expecting. Did you get off? You got Soul Vortex. What did you do? Soul Vortex. And Soul Vortex. I just can't see it because of all the effects. There it is. Alright, Phoenix Pyre attempting to be cast next. One of them gets it off. We've got Army of Giants now. What does that put a Great Eagle's HP at? 67? And a Draconian 30. Well, that one's diseased. 58. Okay. Fortunately, it's a lot of 1 attack per square. And these angels do still have the... Looks like 1 of them, 2 of them have the fear hats, and this one does not. It's got a Gossamer Veil for blur, I guess. I think it's supposed to do Firestorm. Another Phoenix Pyre gets cast. And the third one. Okay. So they've both got Soul Vortex and Phoenix Pyre. They're defending pretty well. Draconians are not known for their high attack values. And these angels have Chainmail of Displacement and pretty high, I mean, reasonably high defense considering they're surrounded by 5 to 7 units. What's that? Harass penalty of 4. I mean, Draconians were already 1 to a square, so they're not the best for necessarily for harassing down enemies like this. Fire Shield's going to be pretty bad. It looks like a couple of the squads have routed. We never did get Rigor Mortis. Skeletal Body? What happened to this one? You get petrified? I think 2 of them are petrified now. Defense 0. 30 prot. Yeah, this guy's just coming in and petrifying everyone. Now, petrify is an auto success, and then the person who's petrified has to roll an MR check to live and unpetrify. But it looks like the Draconians have done what they do best, which is army rout, the killing element of the army. Okay, so he does manage to rout this army off of Satis. Loses the 9 chart makers. That's, you know, that's a fair number of fort turns of mages. Does kill the Deva. Kind of curious how the Deva died. And then 15 Stormguard, 25 Draconians. I forget how many Draconians you get in a cast. I thought it was like 15, but maybe it's like 25-ish. But I think the prime value is the chief. So I don't know, maybe this is like 10 air gems, but he's got a conjuration discount site. So it's not, the big loss here for Calum is the fact that all this crap scattered and that he lost the Deva. Oh, I wonder if it was a magic duel. Really? Okay, so did get magic dueled. Well, hot damn. That would explain why all the other guys didn't cast it. Oh. Alright. Oh, must have had booster, so S2 is pretty vulnerable, yeah. Excuse me. Alright. Well, I mean, that's a pretty significant loss for Calum. It should be easier to replace 9 chart makers, I think. These Calum summons are so incredibly expensive. Almost prohibitively expensive. Okay. And then in Rathabolia, we'll have to see if the retreat routes got cut off after we finish watching these. All right, a few imps join in. Ghouls versus Soulless, everyone's favorite content. Kind of view ghouls as like the I Am Legend style zombies, although I think some have argued those are maybe closer to vampires. Whereas Soulless are just, I don't know, like your classic zombie, just not doing much. Alright. So 9 ghouls go down. They take out nearly 100 Soulless. In Pyrene, we've got Marignon attacking Calum. Alright. Shouldn't have any issues with a little bit of PD. Then in Caves of Mira, we've got another Marignon attack. I don't think we've seen the Virtue this turn. So it's only coming out for special occasions. The Locusts clear that Bakemono squad, though. I think they must have been magic phased in or they must have just flown in, rather. And then we get a storming of Felden Forest. Is it an actual storming, or is it just more mages poking in? Looks like more magic duels poking in. One dies. This one gets hit by an arrow and runs. We get a little bit of illusion spam. And no Tianchi mage is dead. I know this is more efficient in terms of potential casualties. But part of me is also just thinking, just storm the fort and kill it so that you can actually use the fort. But this is really tough cat to kill, so I understand the caution. All right, in Ionia, let's see, we've got a Harib Seraph who snipes that ghost. Okay. Cool. Now, in terms of the underground, we've got a fallen angel that's gone ahead and visited. Got Keelam raiding back down into Red Mines, which means he gets the Dominion scoregraphs. We got Marignon raiding Mudwater Caves. And Marignon holding down this siege with a few ghouls. Oh, and a little raid here in Hot Hollows. Alright, on the surface, let's check the Satis region. Okay, so Calum still had a couple of retreat routes. At least 340 troops, according to our scouting reports. So didn't lose too much in the retreat. Pretender and I don't know, I don't think a prophet was here, but the Pretender is a guaranteed success on a retreat. Doesn't look like any, it looks like the army might have stayed intact. We've got the 3rd Heavenborn and Kaka. So that's the Raven and the Hero. The David died, so I think everything else was somewhat expendable. So he's going to have to make another attempt on Satis. Here is the Levendalen army, the one that got Winds of Death, or got hit with Wind of Death. It looks like they... Was this army patrolling? Or did they magic phase in this fort this turn? I think they had to have been patrolling to get hit by the Wind of Death caster. So that's somewhat unlucky. Well, not unlucky, but I guess that's a decision. Because you don't want your army to get trapped either. Atlantis moving to secure Packwoods. I think that makes a lot of sense. Calum mostly trying to hang on, it looks like. So they're attacking all the way across towards Satis. In a way, they're cutting off Atlantis. So maybe helping Atlantis secure Packwoods. But Marignon's been very diligent, it looks like, this turn of locking down Marignon forts. We do have an assassination here. Oh, this was the ghost. All right. Marignon does have recruitable assassins, so I will stay on the lookout, or at least attempt to. What? Frost Fiends? That's interesting. Wonder if he picked up an Ice Devil. Goetic Masters? Interesting. Now, if he's planning to fight into Cold Scales enemies, Frost Fiends make a lot of sense, I think. Let me pull up Inspector for Frost Fiends. I see them so rarely. Let's see. Like outside of maybe wait, was it Ritual of Five Gates? So they've got 25 cold resist, cold power, and a cold aura. And the cold aura is probably not going to do a whole lot to, at least I don't think, to Atlanteans and Kaelin birds. But the cold power is really good for troops that he's planning to use on the attack. They've also got an ice rod and a frost blast. Am I looking at the right one? Let's see. +2 attack, +4 defense. And the frost blast. I guess we'll have to see it in game. Maybe the inspector's pulling the wrong stuff. I thought they had like a sword. That could be wrong. Okay, so he's summoning a bunch of this stuff. It is cold 3 in the Weald, and it's now cold 4 on Copperwood. So if he's wanting to fight over this territory, it makes sense. And I wonder if he predicted this and went for Forces of Ice as a 9. Because I don't think these were here last turn. And they're second most after Solus. There's even more than Royal Guard. So I wonder if this is the long-awaited 9 that we've been waiting to see, that what Marignon does. And this is going to be his way of trying to secure the game against the two cold powers. He's also made efforts to push towards Pustinia. And his secure, I mean, he's walking through a wall of pestilence, but got to do what you got to do. You definitely don't want to walk around it. You're going to walk through it. You might be trying to not antagonize Man in the meantime, because Man's working on his Felden Forest siege. So in terms of this rush, Marignon now has a border with this throne, So that's bordering 2, has 1, 2, borders 3, and then has a 3rd. Okay, just hasn't claimed it. So now it just needs to put together a winning effort to take these 3. Another interesting thing is, I mean, if he does get up to Thom 8, he could try to astral travel to finish off this throne rush, but he'd need a large enough army with enough siege power to probably try and one turn pop forts. But we'll see. Calum, let's see, Calum's controlling a fair amount of this territory around his capital. The Pyrene region is fairly contested. Nilmeria is under siege. But all in all, I mean, Calum's holding on, I think, reasonably well, considering all the attrition that he's had against Tianqi and against Man. Tianqi is still doing his capital defense. At least should know by now that Marignon and Calum are fighting, so that can provide some encouragement to just kind of like muck around. Okay, cool. So I think the big thing here is, I mean, this fort's a monster. 1500 wall integrity. And if you need that to win as Tianqi, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's tough. As long as this army is hanging out near Patala, I think the Throne of Death was something he needed to get over and siege down. So I'm a little bit worried that this army, I feel like it should be doing stuff, but now it's sending troops towards into Atlantis's domain. Towards this throne of bureaucracy. I mean, there's a big push by Atlantis and Calum in this Satis region, but we've also got a very large Marignana army in the area. I think the longer this drags out, the worse it's going to get for Marignan. So I hope he's got a plan soon for maybe how to win it. But maybe everything just didn't quite come together fast enough for the window that he might have wanted to hit. But we'll have to see. A bunch of Frost Fiends could certainly try and change things. Although 25 hit points, they're only 5 protection. I do worry that Ice Guard and their glaives just kind of murk Ice Frost Fiends. And I don't know if it's easy to get the paths, but maybe Demon Knights would have been a better choice. Because you route the enemy front line and then you get to run them down. We'll have to see though. Alright, cool. I mean, this was a pretty fun turn. We had a lot of Fallen Angels out raiding. We had a Wind of Death trap, and we had a pretty interesting, I guess it's a cap defense because it's the Tiz, but it's not Marignan's cap, but a pretty cool fort defense. So, cool. I think we'll go ahead and call it for this one. I will go ahead and see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.